inside information. Whistleblowers.
Start today at the doorstep of Google, this monolith of global corporation, to bring light to the truth. It is the people, the living, breathing people, human beings, not the government, not the corporations, who have the right to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable search and seizures, and that you will not violate. Right now, this moment, go on to Google and Google CIA funding Google. And it's all right there. To address this, last Wednesday, June 12th, our coalition partner, Power, People Organized for Westside Renewal, delivered a letter to Google here in Venice to call a meeting to discuss these important issues. Now we wait on Google's response. Until then, we would like to put the company on notice. Google, we're watching you.
Google, we're watching you.
Google,
We're watching you.
Google,
We're watching you.
Google.
We're watching you.
Thank you. And what's been big in the news today about the Fourth Amendment? All the spying with the NSA and PRISM and all of that stuff, and the infringement on our rights of privacy. We've got a great speaker here today from the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition that we're going to bring up to speak about the technology and how it affects our community. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Hamid Khan.
Good afternoon. My name is Hamid Khan with the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition, which is a grassroots coalition comprised of individuals from diverse sectors of our community, including youth, immigrants, artists, academics, LGBT community members, lawyers, journalists, students, faith-based and community-based organizations. Well, we gathered here today in front of Google, one of the largest corporations in the world, to expose, challenge, and put a call out to action against a rapidly expanding surveillance industrial complex. So how big is this surveillance industrial complex? I'll give you a quick snapshot. An investigative study released by the Washington Post in July 2010, titled Top Secret America, stated, and I quote, that the top secret world the government has created has become so large, so unwieldy, and so secretive that no one knows how much money it costs, how many people it employs, how many programs exist within it, or exactly how many agencies do the same work. The report went on to further reveal that this was 3 years ago, that at that time 1,271 government organizations and 1,931 private companies work on programs related to intelligence in about 10,000 locations across the United States. And within this top secret America, Google has been a key player in the strengthening and expanding the scope and size of spying on us. Ideally situated as a premier search engine, Google is uniquely set up to maximize data collection on all our individual personality traits, our habits, and our political views. Google is an ideal partner to broaden the secret powers of the police state and basically policies of social control. Just over a week ago, we got the news about NSA collecting on an ongoing daily basis our phone records of millions of Americans every day. We were also informed of a top secret program codenamed PRISM, in which the government tapped into central servers of 9 leading internet companies, including Google, for emails, videos, photographs, and other documents. The question is, should we be surprised? Well, some people may be. But the reality is that the practices of this kind of stuff have been going on for years. So in essence, taking pictures and using video cameras are considered suspicious activity. We gotta note the language. But there's no probable cause required, there's no reasonable suspicion required. Merely a hunch and speculation can now turn your personal information into a suspicious activity report that is immediately uploaded into LAPD's databases in the Counterterrorism Special Operations Bureau and the Major Crimes Division. From there, your personal information is then shipped to a fusion center. A fusion center is basically a central facility where our information is gathered, stored, and uploaded into thousands of databases which can be accessed by every local, federal, regional law enforcement agency and private contractors. And if this was not enough, in October 2009, LAPD launched a companion program called iWatch, See Something, Say Something. This program recruits neighbors, co-workers, and the community at large to report suspicious activity, essentially turning each other into snitches. This is really important. While we are all concerned about the revelations about NSA, this is all local. All day, every day spying on us, gathering our private information, loading them up into massive databases. And so in essence, we have a surveillance industrial complex on a massive scale, gathering data secretly by the millions, spying on us, sharing information between every agency and private contractors. Yet we have these bombings that happen in Boston. This is an abject failure of this policy, a complete failure of this policy. In the meantime, corporations such as Google continue to build power, actively participate in these insidious programs, willingly violate our basic human rights and right to privacy. This has to stop. We must stop these programs that create a culture of suspicion, paranoia, and fear, and create a strong potential for violence against those considered suspicious. We cannot allow routine use of innocent activities like taking pictures and using binoculars to open formal police investigations without one's knowledge. We must stop these programs like Special Order 1 and iWatch, which amount to policing based on a hunch, creating numerous false positives. These policies reinforce social biases and encourage racial, ethnic, and religious profiling. This has to stop. This must stop. And we, the people, need to take the action. We can't wait for the courts to fix it. We can't wait for our political leadership to stop it. It is a loud and clear call to action. Join us in our fight with the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you to Mark for having the foresight to bring together local activists and art and culture and giving us a space to come together and have conversation with one another. And I have the honor of ending this conversation by telling the truth as I see it. And it goes like this, friends. These large transnational corporations are not merely exercising power today. These large transnational corporations are ruling over us because they're making the fundamental public policy decisions. Corporate CEOs are ruling us as surely as masters once ruled slaves, as surely as kings once ruled subjects. Unelected and unaccountable corporate CEOs are ruling us. My friends, there's a simple word for that. It's called fascism. And we got to get comfortable with the F word in this country, I'm afraid to say. We've got to be willing to confront a reality that a kinder, gentler fascism is taking root in this country, and we're allowing it with our silence. No more. We have got to come to terms with what Benito Mussolini, the great fascist philosopher, actually described. He said fascism, more appropriately, should be called corporatism because it is the merger of the mighty economic corporation and the military state. And he thought that was a good thing. Friends, I just want to underscore that Move to Amend is not merely calling to end corporate personhood. You bet we call to end corporate personhood. But deeper than that, we want to be part of a multiracial democracy movement in the United States of America. The most dangerous threat to democracy in the United States is the mistaken belief that we have one. Because democracy means the people rule. And does anybody legitimately, honestly believe that we, the people, are ruling in these United States? No. Of course not. But the point is, friends, we can. Because every single social movement that came before us started when ordinary people like you and you and you and you and me came together and began having honest conversation about what's going on and saw our similarities, saw that we shared hopes and dreams and visions that went beyond the oppressor, that went beyond the system in which we lived in. And here's the thing, friends, what I'm suggesting is if we're really serious, we can envision both political democracy and economic democracy. Imagine an ability for we the people to create the social, political, and economic institutions that we actually want, that we carry in our hearts, we know in our heads is possible. Would we have a society where 20 to 25% of the children go to bed hungry? No. Would we have a society where we lock up poor people and people of color? No. Would we live in a society where we commodify access to health care and treat it only if you have enough money can you have health care? No. Friends, what I'm getting at is this. We have it within our power to create a different world. We're eager to work with people who are on the front lines in their community fighting back against the repression of state power. We're eager to work with people who are creating credit unions and cooperatives. We're eager to work with people who are advancing a single-payer healthcare movement. You see, there are all these issues that at their core are about people yearning for a different society. Imagine now the much hoped-for movement of movements, where we learn from our sisters and brothers in the global south, especially North Africa, especially in Latin America, where they've actually learned, you want systemic social change, they say? It's a very easy two-step formula. It's hard to implement, but the formula is actually easy. The formula, step one, build a broad, deep, educated, and militant social movement. Step two, ensure that that broad, deep, educated social movement actually has an independent political expression, that it expresses itself on the streets, in the taverns, in the pool halls, in the bowling alleys, and in the ballot box. See, I'm not saying only vote, but I'm saying to vote when you get the opportunity to actually vote for Proposition C. 76% of Los Angelinos actually voted for that, and corporate media ignored it. But people's media didn't.
Peace, brother.
Right? People's media, maybe not people's media, don't know you, brother. But whoever is watching now, just know this. We are a non-violent revolutionary movement. Yeah. And I'm going to express we are non-violent and we are revolutionary. Yeah. We're playing for power, friends. This is not just trying to make the corporate capitalist state a little less bad. This is about actually creating a new world, new social, political, and economic institutions. Because I'm going to conclude with this acknowledgement. These large transnational corporations are in fact ruling us. And what are they doing with their decisions? They are destroying the planet that we depend upon for life itself. Literally, that is what is at stake. And if that's not enough to really just get your goat, they are creating a racist, sexist, class-oppressive world order with the plunder and rape of Mother Earth. Ya basta! Enough already! Ya basta! Ya basta! Ya basta! We have the power, and all we have to do is exercise it. If we open our hearts and our minds and we're really willing to talk to each other, what we will find is that there is a movement that is cutting across ideology. That Republicans, at the grassroots level, Republicans, Democrats, Libertarians, Greens, and Independents don't want to be spied on. They want to have their Fourth Amendment rights respected. Across the board, people want clean air to breathe, clean water to drink. They want open spaces for their children. They want meaningful, productive work for which they will be honored and respected. See, we the people at the core, we basically want the same thing. It is within our grasp to build a movement that cuts across party lines, that cuts across ideologies, and recognizes that we the people are more powerful than the small ruling elite. All we have to do is to organize ourselves collectively, exercise that power together, and we will win. Peace. Yeah. Thank you, Mark. Give it up for David Cobb.
Yeah, David. Good job, brother.
Inside information. Whistleblowers.